This quick video is going to discuss column width and Autofit, and you can use the same process with your rows as well. So if I wanted to adjust my column width, I could come up here in between each of my columns and I get a two-headed arrow. With that two-headed arrow, I can click and drag and drop, and you can see where it says I'm at 16.91, 17, 17.45, 18. If you aren't very sturdy with the mouse and you don't like using that method, you could select your column, and on your Home tab, you can go to your cells, grouping, select your format and choose column width, and simply type in there. Maybe you're asked to make that column width 20 and say OK, and then you can adjust it that way, whichever way is best for you. Now there is something that's called Autofit, and Autofit has to go just as quick with your clicking as you say the word. Autofit, double click, Autofit, double click. So if I would like to auto-fit column I go to the end of column I and I double-click. If I don't do it just that quick, it will not auto-fit. And it auto-fits to the size of the longest text in that column. So if you've got some longer text down here at the bottom, instead of you clicking and dragging, oh, that's wide enough, clicking and dragging, that's not wide enough, clicking and dragging, you double-click and that will auto-fit it to the width of the widest cell. Okay, now if you've got a selection, a range of cells or columns, if they tell you to select column A through I and auto-fit all columns, you would select all of those, but you always go to the end of the last column. So for instance, I would go between I and J, and that's where I would want to double click and do it just as quick as that. Double click and it will auto fit every column. And the same concept goes just along with your rows. If I want to adjust my row spacing, I can select my row, I can drag my arrow up and down to get my height in pixels. I can also select my row on my Home tab, go to my cells grouping, select my format button, choose my row height, and type my row height in there of 20 and say OK, the same process. I can also double click on my rows, which is not as common, but that will do the same thing to auto fit your row height as well. That's it. That's auto fit, which will be a double click. That's also adjusting your column widths and your row heights.